Leef with the Legends podcast highlights people doing exceptional work in the areas of sports, entertainment, business, and entrepreneurship. Make sure to like this video, leave comments down below, and subscribe to the channel. As always, be legendary or be lost. Yo, we're back. We're back. Another episode of Leaf with the Legends. I got my little bro, my boy, Duane Wilson, man, Milwaukee legend. Now professional basketball player over in Germany. Man, D, thanks for hopping on the pod.
And appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
For sure. So, man, first off, we gonna set the tone and just talk about you growing up in Milwaukee, and who has some of the biggest influences on you in your game.
Man, it's so many, but just to give you a few off the top, y'all whole Swish team. I was just telling somebody yesterday. They was like asking like who you think your like you kind of your game remind you of, or who you used to take from. And I was like, man, it really wasn't no NBA players or till I got older. But growing up, it was really Swish and DTA. I pretty much went on every road trip with y'all. You, Pre, Al, Mel, my Uncle Justin, all them dudes. So, I felt like I had just a mix of stuff just from watching y'all so much. And then even when y'all got to high school and y'all was playing for y'all prospective schools, Tulsa East, King, Tech and whatnot, you know what I'm saying? That's all I was seeing more than NBA or college. Like I was seeing that live. So I would see certain stuff, especially with just, Pre and Al, that I was just taking from their game, so much. But I would say you guys from Swish and DTA, and then, Devin Harris, Jerry Smith, I'll probably say the biggest, because I was more of a mentor for me. He wasn't necessarily close in age, but I had access to him when I was 12, 13, and he was senior year of college in that Louisville. So, I was able to see his whole process of going through college and seeing his work ethic and what it took to get to that next level. So, you guys really set that foundation for me, and that love and a passion for the game.
Man, that's love. That's love. Yeah, and shout out them earlier teams. Pal Swish, DTA. I still
Yeah,
remember some of them tournaments. I was always smaller, so you wasn't too much smaller than me. But I remember you used to be rocking our jerseys and stuff. If we were
yeah,
black, you would be rocking the white ones. Like
right. Yeah,
that's slick. Yeah, no, you named some real solid individuals. And we just know like basketball just connects all of us, right? So like all the people
right,
that you named, Pre, Justin, Jerry, all those guys, Jermel, like we're all still cool, you know what I mean? And it's
right,
all because of, the trenches and how we were, growing up. But, you know,
right.
all of those people have one person in common, or I'll say two people in common. But like we can't go any further without shouting out your pop, man. You
Oh
know,
yeah, most
Gotta shout
yeah.
out Ike, and I just wanna, just I want you to kinda, hit on, how much of a influence he had, to push you to the success that you're in.
And such a huge influence. I mean, he was the one that, put the ball in my hands. And, far as AAU of knowing, how to take the proper steps to get me certain exposure, going to camps and going to tournaments and playing, and then, playing in front of these college coaches. Like he kind of, he set the blueprint for me of, of of how to make it to that next level. And I mean, it started off with y'all, how and it kind of carried carried off with me. Once y'all left, the torch got passed down to me, and then it was crazy because you and Al was coaching me and Justin,
Yeah.
so and he kind of took like the back seat, and it was just like the opposite of with versus when y'all was growing up. But my pops really, he set the foundation and laid the floor out for everybody, and he gave us that path to success, and even just off the court, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm sure he always talk about you got to get you a degree. You know what I'm
Oh yeah,
saying? He will
for
always
sure.
say that. It wasn't always just about getting scholarships and whatnot, but it was also you go to school for free, you may as well get that degree. So, my pops, he done helped so many kids,
Facts.
kids who come from less fortunate situations, kids that come from great situations. He never judged nobody. He kind of paved the way for me as far as when I started coaching and why I wanted to do it. Just from seeing him doing it since I was 5 years old, and I'm finna be 29 now, and he's still doing it at a high level. So that right there just said a lot about it.
You hit it right on the head, man. I think, too many times these conversations, especially in just AAU basketball period, but especially when you shrink it down to the Mill or Wisconsin, like the influence that Ike, has had on, like you said, everybody from all walks of life, and continuing to have, so shout out Ike. I know I wanted to, give him his flowers too, just as we
Yeah.
giving, we giving, you yours. But yeah, and now, you're a father, and when you're not playing professionally, you got a phenom, a young Kobe, growing up. So like, what are some of like the do's and the don'ts that you like that you saw that work with the dynamic between you and your pops, and that didn't work, between you and your pops?
Yeah, really just the whole I really don't want to coach my son Kobe as much. Like when he first started, I kind of had no choice because I kind of wanted to, at that early age, you kind of want to mold them before you just
Yeah.
let other people get
Yep.
their hands. Want to make sure he get the fundamentals and everything that you want to instill in him. So now it's getting to the point where I just kind of branch off, and I like to sit back and be a dad. Like I like to record everything. Like
Yep. Yeah.
I want to have all these moments, and it's cool coaching because I can be right there as as an extension at being the coach and being the tell me, oh, you need to go do this. But it's also cool to sit back and record because then also you can go back and tell them like this moment, like, oh, you could have did this better. And then also with him is just, I wouldn't feel for me it wasn't as much pressure. I feel like with Kobe it's gonna be more pressure because I played professionally. And then I played at Dominican and won state championships and played at Marquette and Texas A&M. So people automatically go think like, oh, he's supposed to be this and he's supposed to be that. So that's why I kind of wanted more trying to transfer into like the trainer side and behind the scenes and start just working on stuff with him is just kind of piggyback off what my pops was doing for me, but also just seeing the stuff that tapping into the business side. That's one thing I feel like me when I was coming up, my pops he ain't know too much about the past the college and once you get to the professional like you got to start tapping in and that's stuff that we learned as Jordan Poole and other guys from the program start making it to the NBA. We start seeing that, so now I got a different perspective on that. So when he gets older and then if he gets to that point where he's that type of prospect, you know I know the ins and the outs of what we need to do and what we don't need to do, and then just also my pops, he stopped coaching me probably about eighth grade. But then also, I mean, when you get to high school, I can't coach him.
Right.
When he get to college, I can't coach him. So now it's kind of my mindset just be like, let him start early where he ain't got to worry about, everything is just my pops coaching me. My pop, like, I just wanted to kind of separate, the two and, what I'm saying? Like, this my pops, but then he also, he's my trainer. I don't really it's cool to be a coach. I love helping the kids, but I kind of got a different perspective of the game of how I want to manage it and how I want to do it.
Yep. No, for sure, for sure. No, I mean, you spitting facts. You spitting facts. I mean, that's how it's got to be, and that's how
Yeah,
it should be. Generation after generation. We gotta keep leveling up, right? So,
right.
hey, so you right on track. So we'll kind of fast forward a little bit. So, like, you choose Dominican high school, right? What other schools were in the running, and what kind of propelled Dominican over the top?
It was Tulsa East, Nicolay, King was like 50-50, but King was 50-50 because they had a lot of guards that came in the class before me, and they had a like 15, 20 just back hoopers that was, nice at the time, all went to King. So it was kind of like, um I like guys, and then all y'all went there, so it was like, that was always for me, King and Tulsa East.
Yeah.
So Dominican was, Dominican, but I really didn't want to go to Dominican.
Mm,
I really wanted to go, and then Brown Deer was into play because I went to Brown Deer from K5 to 8th grade. I went to Brown Deer, but
okay.
then the coach was telling me he was gonna put me on JV. So once he did that, it's like, oh, we cool on them. So man, I mean, it ended up just working out with Dominicans because then Tulsa East, I think it was either 7th or 8th grade year, Haas retired.
Mm,
I can't. I think it might have been my 7th grade year. Haas retired. Once that happened, I was like, no, I wanted to play for Haas. He coached Devin, he coached Al, he coached Jerry. So that was my thing with Tulsa East. And then Nicolay was kind of more supposed to be a package deal with JP Tokoto, Money, AJ, like the guys I play AAU with, but they all kind of went to Tulsa East, King, Menominee Falls. They went their own separate ways. So, Dominican kind of was, in my best favor. And, Wally wasn't necessarily guaranteeing minutes, but he was telling me I had a good chance of starting at point guard my freshman year. And at the end of the day, that's, I wanted to be a freshman on guard playing major minutes and playing a significant role. And he was giving me that opportunity.
no, for sure. And you definitely needed to be on varsity. So, you
Oh,
know,
yeah.
yeah, I don't know what Brown Deer coach is on, but yeah, it is what it is. So I'm just gonna read off a little bit of just a little bit of your stats from high school, right? So you were consensus top 100 nationally ranked. You were ranked 51st by rivals. You led Dominican to state championship your senior year. Unanimous first team All State honoree. Two-time conference MVP. In your senior year, you contributed 24 points, 4.7 assists, 4.5 rebounds per game. And I think the stat that really stands out is that you shot 61% from the floor overall. So like when you talk about like that's dominating, bro. Like that is dominant. Like two-time player of the, conference player of the year, all state, state championship. Like what went I mean, obviously I know you put in major time and work and but like how was it like how was that experience like playing for a coach like Wallerstein, just kind of letting you do your thing and shine.
Man, it was great. A lot of people don't know. Like Wallerstein used to be on me tough. Like from the first day I got at Dominican, like he was on me every day at practice, like making things difficult for me. Like nothing was easy. But that's when I really learned that practice is always supposed to be harder than the games.
Oh,
Like
fact.
being practice, and I got two people picking me up full court. Like for instance, my freshman year we played King. This King might have had Marcus Kirk, Big Silas Mills. They had a much older, mature team, and King they picking up full court running jumps. So he got 2, 3 people guarding me in the back court. Like this is what it's gonna feel like, Saturday, and this is my third. It's like my third game of my freshman year, but he prepared me so well, like for the games, and I feel like a lot of kids might not have got that at that high school level because that's like college, levels. Like you trying to prepare me, like we got a whole scouting report, and this is what you need to do in order for us to be successful. And he was just putting me in the fire and putting me in those situations, but he also was just building my confidence, and then just also my teammates, Jamal Taylor, Breon Jordan, Iman Johnson, Tommy Pop. We had a solid group of guys, and they believed in me as a freshman, and they pushed me as well in practice. So it was more just preparation. You know what I'm saying? Like every day was gonna be a challenge. Like practice was never easy. No matter if he felt like it was anytime it got easy for me, he would try to like make it extremely difficult.
Mhm.
So then when it got to the games, it just became second nature when adversity would hit, or I'm not hitting shots, or I got a few turnovers. He not taking me out the game. He figure it out. So that right there, that when you got a coach that believe in you like that, and that done had Kwame Mitchell, Showtime, Jarrell Harris, and all these legendary guards from the city, you believe everything that man tell you. And I just bought into everything he was, telling me every single day. And it was working for me.
And you had Wally 3 years,
Two years.
2 years, and then you had Bird.
Yep.
So how was that? How was that dynamic once a Hall of Famer, and Wally, then you got to shift to a whole. Well, Berg was on staff, but it's you still, it's
Right.
a new head coach. So how was that
Yeah.
transition?
The transit, it was a smooth transition, and by that time, Wally prepared me so much. It was kind of like Berg necessarily didn't have to coach
Mm,
because I was an extension of him. So, he can call. I mean, he'll call a timeout, or I'll call a timeout. Or I just knew the offense, the ins and outs. I knew each player role, who can hit shots. I know his spot. It got to the point where Berg really had to coach the other guys, and me, it was just I could just lead the way. And he also believed in me. He seen me grow from freshman to sophomore year, and proving myself time after time. And then also we just had a veteran group when Berg first year we had I was a junior, and then Jamal and Breon were seniors, and then we got Diamond as a freshman, and everybody else is juniors and seniors, and you got one freshman. I mean, and you can't teach size. Diamond's
right.
6'10", 14 years old. You just block shots and run the flow. I'm gonna find you.
Yeah.
His job was simple. So just me being an extension of Berg, and he really didn't. He wasn't really as vocal as Wally, but then it also made sense because I was vocal. So he
Mhm.
really didn't have to be that. When you got a point guard that that is a leader and that can run a team, you honestly as a coach, you really can sit back and just watch the show. And it'd be times where Berg did have to step up, but we had great scouting. I mean, you was on the staff, so the way we prepare for each game, we watching film. We every game we going in full detail reports on each team weaknesses and their strengths. So, and that really prepared me for college. For 4 years, I got great coaches from the head coach to the assistant coach. For 4 years, it was great. So really wasn't no gray areas as far as my like development and learning of the game.
No, facts, facts. And before, when you said assistant coaches and coaching staff, before we go any further, we got to say RIP to Markel Thompson.
Oh yeah, most definitely,
Yeah,
man. Rest in peace.
rest in peace. Markel was on staff and just a competitor, man. He was a Dominican alum, went to
Yep,
and actually was more football than basketball, ended up playing for the University of Florida. And then came back and he was, just helping out. But Markel was Markel was one of the ones. So shout out Kel, shout out the
most
rest of
definitely.
the, coaching staff. And yeah, yeah, but yeah, we'll get back on track. So let's talk about the state championship runs, right? I mean, you won it junior and senior year, back to back, right?
Yep.
So which one kind of holds more weight?
That's tough. I say junior year because senior year it was expected. Like everybody, Duane and Diamond ain't no beating them. Junior year, that's when we played Cuba City. And was it Cuba City like 20? They was like they only lost one game or
Yeah,
undefeated,
yep,
right?
yep.
We really didn't know what to expect going against a legend coach, and Jerry. What's his
Pettigrew,
last? Yeah,
Pettigrew. Yeah, yeah.
and they had I can't remember the kid name, but he was good. The kid that they had, and you know how I go upstate. You go upstate. I mean, technically, we a city team, but we in the suburbs. I mean, majority of our team was city kids, so we got to make adjustments. I mean, I remember that. Well, they called us like we had like 12 turnovers in the first half.
Yep.
all off trying to do Euro steps and, just playing how we play. So, that was a little bit of adversity we had to face and figure out that 1-3-1 zone they was playing. So I felt like that junior year, that was like more meaningful. Then also, Breon, and Jamal was like, and Breon, my best friend to this day. Like,
Yep.
so it's more, how it is when your best friend is senior. You like, I can't let you go out without getting you one. So, and I felt like with Iman, we kind of let him down a year before. We didn't get him a ring. So it's like, man, we got to get one most definitely. We got the perfect team from 1 through 12. Even the guys that didn't play contributed in practice and scouting teams. So it was like, man, we got to get them seniors, Connor Shorts and Big Sam Starkey. We got to get them one. So I felt like that was the most meaningful one. And it's your first one. So it's like,
Yeah.
that second one is kind of like, man, you got that swagger. You go up to Madison, you like, man, I know we finna win this. That
Yeah.
first year, you don't know what to expect because you ain't never been up there. So I say the first one.
No, I hear you. I hear you. And I was fortunate enough to, win back to back, state championships too. And I would say that for me, I would say the senior year, just because of my guys, you know what I mean? Like, because I grew up, you gotta think about it. Me, Pre, Dixon, and Goody, we started playing AAU together when we was 10.
Right.
You know what I
Exactly.
mean? And it might have been one summer or half a summer where we might have, went off and did our own thing. Like I know I went to Friends of Hoop like 16U, but like for the most part, we was together. Like,
Yeah.
when you that young, you playing year round. Then when you get to high school, we playing in high school together, then in the summer. And then
Right.
I think for us to like, double back, like I think that was special. Yeah, I was curious because when I was coming up with the questions, I'm like,
Yeah, because
I wonder which one he
y'all,
he
y'all
think.
run, man, y'all run was legendary. I remember that like it was yesterday.
Man, yeah, no, hey, I gotta, especially for that senior year. Hey, shout out to Pre Fletcher, man.
Oh yeah, he put
shout,
up a
out, shout
shit.
out to Pre. He put us on our back. But man, let's get back to the Duane Wilson show though. But man, so after a great, high school career, AAU career, you choose or you commit to Marquette University. What went into what went into that decision, and like why did you choose Marquette?
And what's crazy is when I first got offered by them, I'm like, I'm not staying home. Like
Mhm.
it's racks for that. Like I really wanted to go to Memphis. So my top three was Marquette, Memphis, and Mizzou at that time because that was my junior year and I really didn't people knew who I was, but I didn't blow up until after I committed that last year. AAU was when I really took like a big jump. But
Got you.
with Marquette, it was, at the time, Buzz was just a super solid dude. The way he moved and portrayed himself, and just talking to him, he was a great, recruiting guy. Um, it helped even more. They had guys, Jamil, Vander. They had local, guys that was from Wisconsin there, and they was winning. So, going to the Bradley Center and seeing them sold out games against number one Syracuse and Michael Carter Williams, and they winning and they going to a Sweet 16s and then Elite Eights, like, it's kind of like, why not? And then, Deontay Burton, me and him played with each other in middle school, was the same class, and he committed first. So when he kind of did it, he kind of was like, me and him always wanted to play together, but I played up in AAU, and then, they kind of went their separate ways and went to a whole nother AAU team. I'm like, I always wanted to see how it'd be with me and D Burden on the, me at the point, him on the wing, and then Jamil McKay came into the picture where they were recruiting him. So I'm just thinking like, man, last time a Milwaukee guy played at Marquette was Dwight. So I'm like, I mean, we got a chance to, really do something special. And they already winning. They playing on ESPN night in and night out. Vander already got it rocking, bringing people, the scouts and everything in. People know who Marquette is, and it's at that time the Big East was the Big East.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh, Louisville, UConn, like every team is big dogs. So I'm like, why not? So I ended up committed to Marquette, and then it was crazy because once my junior year AAU started and we playing on the EYBL, man, I think that weekend I averaged like 30 or 35 at Boo
Yeah, you went
Williams.
crazy. Yeah, you went crazy.
I got Arizona, UCLA, Kentucky, like all the big dogs calling my uncle, calling pops, like, you know what I'm saying? And it was rumors that Buzz was leaving, go to SMU that year. Like people like Buzz leaving, so like, what's up? So I had all these people in my ear, like, man, you should open up your your commitment and see what you can do. And me and Pop sat down, and he was like, what you want to do? Like, you got Arizona calling, UCLA, USC, like they all trying to see what's up. Like, you want to open your commitment. And just at that time, I'm just big on loyalty. Like, once I say I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it. So I'm like, man, I'm sticking to Marquette. And I felt like at that time it was the right decision. Like, Marquette had a lot of buzz, and then we ended up getting Juwan Johnson to sign. Jamil McKay ended up signing #1 JUCO player. Juwan top 25 in the country. So at the end, my senior year, we had it was 5 freshmen coming in. Well, Jamil McKay was a junior out of JUCO, but he came in as an incoming freshman with us. So they had us #2 on the rankings as incoming recruiting classes.
Wow.
So we got a real special group and can do something nice with this team. So I was all for it, and I was excited to go to Marquette just off the strength of what we had coming in. And then, the coaching staff was great. Isaac Chu was on the coaching staff who ended up coaching me at A&M, but me and him was like super tight because he was actually at Mizzou and was recruiting me at Mizzou and then ended up at Marquette. So
I forgot about that.
It kind of all just, worked out. And I'm like, I mean, why not stay home and this would be a different dynamic? And we just was on some, like, we trying to do it for the city. Like, and we got a chance to go to Final Four national championship, and you got 4 dudes, 5, 6 dudes, all from Wisconsin. I don't think it's that ever been done. So that was my mindset at that time.
That's tough. That's tough. So your freshman year, you get injured, so you redshirt, but then you
Right.
come back the following year. Like what? Like I know you got murder
Yeah.
on your mind. You know what I mean? Like or you.
It's just like, man, I had such a chip on my shoulder just from watching, knowing all them dudes I was in my class go one and done, Jabari and Julius Randle, like James Young, like them dudes I was playing against since like 5th grade, and they all Midwest dudes. I'm like, I done scored 30, 40 against them. Like, I mean, they different. I mean, they 6'8", different type of guys. But I'm like, man, they can do it. I can do it.
For sure.
So that coming into my sophomore year, redshirt freshman year, I just had the ultimate confidence. And then we had the coaching change with Wojo, and at that time Marquette was kind of trying to find their identity. Like, we didn't have a alpha dog at the time. Like, Vander was gone. It wasn't nobody who was solidified. You're the guy on this team. So it was an open door. Whoever wanted, come get it. So it was one of them type of situations, and man, I just was in that gym, just working, and then the situation it really just fell into my lap. Like, I don't even know if I was starting right away. Like, I think it took like maybe like 1 or 2 games, and then when we went to Orlando and played like Michigan State, Georgia. We played Georgia Tech, Michigan State, and then Tennessee. And that was just like my coming out party, that Orlando tournament. Then from there, that whole red shirt freshman year just was, I had my ups and downs where I went through my freshman slump, freshman slump. But then, I had 26 and 30 on Tennessee, 26 on Georgetown. And these big games, it just was, repetition over the summer, and then and then Wojo and and the other coaching staff building that confidence. Like I remember we playing Creighton before the game. Wojo pulled me to the side, was like, "I need you to go for 30." Like you got a coach that's telling you like, "I need you to go for 30." Like that's a player love to hear something like that because that's right.
Absolutely.
I got the ultimate green light. Like you not go as long as I'm staying within the offense and staying within character, you're not gonna say nothing to me. And that's when you got a coach that's putting that confidence in you, it's hard not to live up to that expectation or be successful at that point.
No, fact, fact. All right. So after tearing it up, that freshman year, your redshirt freshman year, like let's talk about the rest of your time at Marquette.
And rest of time Marquette, it was a roller coaster that so going into my red shirt sophomore year, at that point we kind of had our identity. Me and Luke Fisher was, and Juwan was pretty much kind of like the face, and they knew who the go to guys was. And then we had Henry Ellison coming in as well as Sakar Annam and Tracy Carter and Neef Cheatham. So we had a nice recruiting class coming in with Matt Help too. So we had some more pieces. The year before we only had 8 or 9 guys. Now we got a more complete team, and we got a solid rotation and foundation going. And it just got to the point where then again we had the culture change, so Wojo started getting some more of his guys that he recruited versus me. I mean, I had no idea. I mean, I knew of Wojo just, slap on the floor at Duke, but
Yeah.
me and him had no relationship prior to him coming to Marquette. You know what I'm saying? We had known each other for a year or so, you know what I'm saying? So it was a little bit, the situation got a little bit rocky where, he wasn't, I feel like he kind of was more, kind of showing more favoritism to the guys because, he owed their parents what he promised them. He was promising some of them kids they was go play this many minutes and they was go start at this position. So my whole thing was going into my redshirt sophomore year when I was getting feedback from NBA scouts and stuff like that of what they wanted to see. They wanted to see me play point guard. So when we did our exit meetings, and I told Wojo like, I know you wanted me to score this year because we had guys who really didn't have an identity and we needed that role to be filled, which was cool. I'm all about the team, but now with me being one of the go-to guys, I want to be a point guard. So that whole summer, that's all I was really working on my handle more, working on different reads, just trying to make that next jump.
Mhm.
So and then it got to the point where I felt like he still wanted me to be just in this scoring role, which I didn't want to be in. It got to the point where me and him was bumping heads, and he ended up, bringing me off the bench and just turning me into a 6 man, which was just basically just scoring what I basically the same numbers that I had my freshman year was identical to my sophomore year, literally the same, and it wasn't really a jump. And from that freshman to sophomore year, you supposed to make that jump,
For sure.
and, and it got to the point where it was bothering my confidence was getting bothered. Some games I'm starting, next game I don't know if I'm starting. And then it's you trying to come off the bench, which I never came off the bench in my life, which is I feel like coming off the bench has its pros and its cons. Like you kind of can get a feel for what's going on in the game before you get out there, and you can see like, oh, we need this right now and not that. But that ain't never really been my mo as
Right.
far as being and what I was working on all summer. So when he kind of took that role for me of being a point guard, it kind of ruined my confidence a bit. And then it's also like, man, I can't just keep being the put me off the ball to be a scorer. And that year was just tough. And then we wasn't winning as much as everybody thought we was gonna win. It's like if you seen the roster on paper, you looking like, man, this is a second round Sweet 16 type of team. And we had some tough losses at home and to some teams that we shouldn't have lost to, which hurt us from making the tournament. So that sophomore year was I wouldn't say that was my toughest year, but it was the beginning where I started to see like, and I don't know if I'm really supposed to be at Marquette because I wasn't feeling the same love and appreciation that I was getting my freshman year, and they was kind of like putting it on me, trying to say like, "Oh, well, you wasn't doing this summer," and I'm like, I was in the gym every day in the summer. When we went to Italy, I averaged 20 and 8 the whole time we was in Italy. We played 6 games against against like some pro college teams over there. I'm averaging 20 and 8. We won every single game, and that's me playing point at that time. I was comfortable playing point guard, and it was just a whole different like role change. And it was getting to the point where I kind of feel like he was putting me and Juwan against each other to the point where Juwan is a scorer too on the wing, so it was like me and him neck and neck, and it's like me and him roommates,
Right.
best friends. So it's like every time I get subbed in the game, I'm subbing him. She gets subbed out the game. I'm coming to get him. It's never all y'all play together and figure it out. So it was kind of like, man, it was a lot of mind games. That's how I would put it in the full perspective. It was just a lot of mind games going on. And you know how my pops is, he feel a certain way, he go address it. So Wojo start feeling the way towards my pops. And I feel like that it kind of started to carry on, and Wojo wanted a certain look at Marquette. I don't really feel like I was the look that what he wanted. Like he kind of wanted to turn into Duke. And that ain't never been Marquette basketball or
Right.
Marquette identity ever. So, and it just wasn't really, I mean, it started to just all unravel, honestly. I was it was fun, I'm playing with my boys, but I was starting to see like the other side of how stuff really work. Of man, when people used to tell me like, man, when your recruiter leave or the coach that recruited you leave, you get up out of there too. And that's when I really started seeing it. Like, man, because I remember Deontay was left, and Jamel left, and all them other dudes left, and they was like, man, you need to get up out of here too. And I'm like, man, I'm killing right now. Why would I leave? And at the time, I was blinded because they making everything about me. But as soon as everything wasn't about me, and I'm playing this back seat, and I really started looking like, man, like I should have listened, and I should have probably went a different direction. And then that carried on to my junior year. They brought in Marcus Howard and Sam Hauser, as well as Andrew Rousey, and then Caden Reinhardt. So we had like an 8 or 9 guard rotation,
Damn.
and it was like it's dog eat dog world in practice. You know what I'm saying? So it got to the point where like my to fast forward to my junior year, my last year at Marquette, it got to the point where like I just knew like the only way I'm getting on the floor is if I be a defender. And it got to the point where I'm picking up dudes 94 feet, taking charges, diving on loose balls, and it'd be games where I get off offensively, but then it'd be games like, man, I might not touch the floor. I went from averaging 30 minutes a game to 12, 15 minutes. And it's just I wasn't really understanding it because it's like, coaches say minutes are assigned by how you do in practice. I'm the first one in the gym, the last one out the gym. In practice, I'm blocking up, I'm being vocal, I'm talking, I'm doing this, I'm doing everything that you're supposed to do to be playing 30 minutes a game versus some other guys weren't even doing that. So it got to the point where I started peeping like this ain't got nothing to do with talent or
Right.
who worked the hardest. This got more. All right, you promised dude mama that he was gonna play point guard. You promised if he transferred here that he was gonna do this. You ain't promised me nothing. I just was here because you got the job. Like I kind of was like adopted. Like I felt like I was like one of the adopted kids. Me and Juwan felt that way. Like we stuck around. We was part of Buzz kids, and you know what I'm saying. You just took us along because you had to, because you ain't have no other team. You didn't have if me, Juwan, and everybody else leave, you wouldn't even have a team at Marquette. So it kind of turned into that, and it was kind of hard because we was winning. And a big part of us winning was, it was at the end of the day, them was my boys. So you wasn't finna see me on the bench sitting there pouting and body language. Like you see me over there clapping it up. I'm hype on the bench. And when I get in the game, whatever minutes I'm getting, I'm giving you everything I got. And that's why I feel like Marquette fans love me so much because they knew what was going on.
Oh
Like
yeah,
it
for
be
sure.
they chanted, put D Wilson in the game. When I get in the game, it's standing ovations. And, sure enough, and everything happens for a reason and works out in my favor because it was crazy because before we played Villanova, my junior year, the number one team in the country, I was thinking about quitting and just
Mm.
like I'm cool. I called my mama, my granny, my dad, my grandpa. I'm like, it's not even fun no more. Like I can't keep faking it. Like I can't do this no more. Like I would want to play somewhere else, but right now I just feel like I don't even want to be on the team because it's depressing. It's depressing at this point. Like I don't want to go to practice. I don't even want to travel. Like I'm faking the funk. Like I gotta be something that I'm not, and that's never been me. And it was crazy because my grandma had the pastor call me. He just had this long talk and just, sticking to the plan and staying the course. And sure enough, I don't know what happened. I don't know if somebody was in foul trouble, but I ended up having like 11 points that game, but I played like 30 minutes. But I had key points of the game where I had the little hezzy to stop and go layup to go over the lead, and I'm getting steals and big time stops. And that ended up being one of my most memorable moments, standing on top of the thing like Mike, like got
Yeah.
all the on the floor. That's something every kid dream of. Beating the number one team in the country on Fox Sports, but on national TV. I got to live that out, but it was just like little stuff like that, and I was just for me just being thorough and solid. Like most dudes in that situation would have folded, like or quit, like how I wanted to do, or they would have been bad teammates. And I stayed being a good teammate. And it was like after that game for the rest of the year, it was time like Wojo going to interview. And he just like I gotta start him. He picking up full court. And it was just like everything was just working in my favor. But it was to the point where I didn't mess with him. But it was like for my dogs, I'm gonna go all out, but I don't mess with dudes. But what I'm saying, I'm gonna get through this last little 2 months. And we end up making the NCAA tournament. We lost in the first round of South Carolina, who end up going to the Final Four. But as soon as the season did, I was, I was, my mind was already made. Like I'm gone. Like I don't want no time. Not, I love Marquette as a university, but that whole situation, it kind of made me lose the love of basketball because they always say like when you're not having fun with it, you need to be done with it. And it got to the point where I never in my life felt like basketball wasn't fun until that point. I'm just like, man, like do I really want to hoop? Like I'm questioning my talent. Like, am I really not good? What's wrong? Like what am I not doing that I don't belong on the floor? And it was eating me up inside, bro. So that was my toughest year at Marquette. I ended up graduating, getting my degree, but by far that was, man, that was one of the hardest moments. But I felt like I needed to go through that though.
No, facts, man. Hey, like, and I've obviously we know each other, we talk, but like the extent of it, I didn't really know how deep it was. Like, I didn't know you was that close to quitting. I didn't know
Yeah,
that. And but it just shows like for 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 younger, I wouldn't even say younger players, but any player who's going through some adversity, coaching
yeah,
change, like some tough times, like control the controllables, right? So
yep,
like
yep.
if you had been a bad teammate, if you had been, half-assing in practice, coming in 10 minutes before practice, leaving right when practice in, and not putting the time in, when your name was called during that, who was it, Providence?
Villanova.
Villanova, I'm sorry, during that Villanova game, then you woulda he probably wouldn't even called you, really. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? But, like, that just shows, like, the grit, the resiliency, and just that dog, man. So, like, props to you, bro. Like, I didn't know the extent of it, but, I'm glad, it ended up, working out, so to speak. But yes, all right, so So we kind of closed the Marquette chapter, right?
Yep.
So then you like, all right, you graduate, you got your degree from Marquette. You got one more year. So you choose Texas A&M, and I know earlier you said you kind of alluded to it. Coach Chu was down there. So like
Hmm.
when you get to A&M, what's your mindset?
Man, I mean, I knew me and Chu already talked that I'm committed. Like I knew from the time we was in the tournament, like I know where I'm already want to go. Like I ain't told nobody, but I'm a I'm gonna try to enjoy the process a little bit, just because in high school I really didn't do the whole. I committed early. So the whole thing with A&M was the selling point was really Rod Williams, and I really was waiting on to see if he was gonna come back to school, because my mind, I'm like, wherever I go, I gotta play point guard. Two, they gotta be on national TV. I wasn't trying to go mid major, so I was trying to play on the biggest stage and everything. So when I kind of seen like they didn't have a point guard, I mean they had JJ Caldwell. He was a freshman, but he didn't play. And he still was, learning and inexperienced. So they like, man, we got a bunch of young guys, but we just need a veteran point guard. So it was just like, it was the perfect situation. And I mean, Chu known me since I was 15, 16, been recruiting me since I was 15, 16. I trusted him, my mama trusted him, my dad. And the whole time I was at Marquette, he was like a big bro. Like even when he left, he takes me, keep your head up. I see what's going on. Stay solid. Make sure you going to practice. Like, he telling me like stuff that I need to do. And it's just that type of stuff you don't forget when people be hitting you up in those low moments. You know what I'm saying? So right then and there, when I knew it was an opportunity for me to go there, I was like, I ain't even gonna waste time, because I knew. I mean, Rod was considered a top 5 pick at that time. So I'm knowing it's a bunch of kids trying to transfer there and go play. I had like Florida and a bunch of different SEC schools and some Pac-12 schools, and there was a lot of schools calling. But it was like, man, I kind of, I took that visit down there. I seen the situation, and it was different from Marquette, Marquette is a private institution, and down there is a public school with a powerhouse football program. So
Yep.
down there it's real college. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like at Marquette, I mean, of course we got downtown. You go to 720, and that's not Marquette. See, at Texas A&M, everything is on campus. Like you
Mm.
go to I can't even remember the name of the little strip we had, but it's like all the little bars and clubs is on campus. So for me, I feel like I'm 19 again. Like this is something new. I ain't get to experience this at Marquette. So it kind of was it really wasn't too much it was not a doubt that I was gonna go to Texas A&M, and they just had the perfect pieces. They had Admon Gilder, DJ Hogue was a potential first round pick, Tyler Davis was a potential first round pick. We just had the right pieces, and then the schedule that they had. I mean, we played West Virginia in Germany.
Germany,
Then
yeah.
we played USC at USC. Then we play at Barclays, and we played Kansas at Kansas. Like we playing against the top dogs, and I'm in the SEC, which take 8 teams to the NCAA tournament. So it was pretty much a no brainer. Then after talking to Coach Kennedy, all coaches gonna say like, no minutes are guaranteed, but he telling me like I need you here. You're a priority.
Yeah.
So like you hear that, then that's all I wanted to hear, was that I'm a priority, because I feel like at Marquette I wasn't a priority. So like once that he telling me that, and I see the coaching staff, you're Maliki, he at Kansas State now, one of the top young assistants. Um, Coach Amir, Sharif Radu Rahim, his younger brother, he the head coach at University of Southern Florida. So we had a good young core of coaches too, who can get me to where I wanted to go, and really like teach me the game. And also them 3 African American young coaches, they can relate to me more than anybody. You know what I'm saying? I feel like at Marquette, I really wasn't getting that, for where they can relate to. I was 19 years old with a kid. You know, I mean, Wojo wasn't used to that type of stuff. Coach Chu and Amir and they used to dealing with kids who, kids having kids.
Yep.
We had another dude on the team, Admon. He had a little daughter. You know what I'm saying? So it felt like home. It felt like family. They opened my people up with open arms. They was making sure Kobe was good when he used to come down there. And it was a perfect situation for me, bro.
Man, that's what's up. That's what's up, man. Shout out Coach Chu. Shout out Texas A&M, man. I'm
Yeah.
glad. And we was rooting from afar. Obviously, selfishly, we was like, damn, why he got to go all the way down to College Station? Like, why he got to go all the way down there, man? But we knew it was the best fit for you. So I'm glad you was able to do your thing. So then Texas A&M is done, right? So let's I follow you. So I want to talk a little bit not non-basketball stuff, right? Let's talk about Lou Will's pool party.
Man.
as much as you can.
When I tell you the best pool party ever in the history of pool parties, like I can't like you just had to be there. And I think I went what 3 years straight. And I tell you, man, the time of my life and just also just the people who I was meeting, like, I'm down there networking. I'm meeting people. He putting me in rooms that I ain't never been in, like, NBA players, people in the music industry, and just, females, all type, everything, and just being around an NBA player. And furthermore, just off the pool parties, like Lewis, stand up dude, like he was like flying me and Juwan out there. Like he like a roommate want to come down to Atlanta, and just send me his name, information. I get him a plane ticket. We stand at his house. He paying for everything, taking us to Magic City, Compound, whatever it is. And it
Yeah.
just, man, it's like, I always appreciate him for that because he ain't had to do that. He ain't know me from a can of paint. You know what I'm saying? He just, this my nephew, best friend. Like, come on, you nephew too. And to this day, I can call Lou, text him. I need some advice, or you know what I'm saying. He one call away. You know what I'm saying. But man, them pool parties was epic, bro. Like, I mean, every celebrity that you can think of, or
Yeah.
NBA player, or Instagram model, they in there. So it was just crazy, and it's just, I mean, it's Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? It's like Black Hollywood. You never know who you go bump into, but like, man, he like the king of the A, dog. Like, bro, them pool parties, man, that was a time, bro. Like you just had to be there to experience it, man. And the whole setup wasn't no ghetto, like, you know what I'm saying? Like he had security, he had liquor sponsors, you know what I'm saying? Real, like, he had food vendors coming,
Like
like
a real, it was a real production, real event.
yeah, real movie. Like, you like, oh, this real top notch. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, man, you hear anybody talk about they been to a Lou Will party, they tell you, like, bro, that man, most epic pool party ever.
Man, that's dope. That's dope. No, shout out Lou Will, man, because it's like he's a true OG, right? Like he put you in positions not only to have fun. We gonna do what we gonna do, but like you said, like he like yo, like this my little nephew too. Like look out for him. Like rooms with whether that's like you said, entertainers, other sports figures, whatever. So like
Right.
no, that's dope. That's dope. We need more and better OGs, like him.
So, yeah.
So let's talk about your kind of uh journey from Texas A&M to Germany now. Like let's talk about the steps and
Yeah.
the ebbs
So,
and
man,
flows of that.
it's just, I can say one word, man. It's been a grind. Like,
Right.
the thing people don't really understand about overseas, people think like once you come from a high major or one of these big schools, you just automatically, oh, 6 figures, 7 figures. Like, that ain't how it work. Like, you start from scratch. Like, you gotta climb, you gotta take the stairs. Ain't no elevators with this overseas. It's only, it's probably 5. maybe 7, 8 guys that come out of college, and they probably or maybe was playing summer league guys who come overseas right away and just jump to making, crazy amounts of money and playing in top leagues. Because then again, in Europe, they don't really rock with the NBA and how we, what I'm saying, like how we play and stuff like that. Like some of my teammates now, like my teammate said he ain't never watched an NBA game before. He said he watched one game and turned it off because it was such bad basketball being played. Like they really don't rock with none of that. So, my real rookie, I tore my ACL at A&M.
Yep.
So I didn't get to do the whole pre-draft and workouts, none of that. So I didn't get cleared to really play until October. And I still was having issues with my knee, and I got drafted by the Celtics G League team. I went out there, they waived me because they told me they don't clear people for the ACL until they're 10 months. And at the time I was 8 months. So, and then I went to Italy before that off a package deal with my cousin Jamil. And it was an issue where he wasn't coming over there when they wanted him to. So they basically just pushed me to the curb. So at this point, I just was like, I'm just going to rehab my knee, get my body right. I don't want to rush it. ACL, you got to be real, precious how you moving with that. You don't want to rush back and re-tear it. So, that summer I go to a overseas camp, and I'm signed to an NBA agent at the time, Steve McCastle. He had a lot of NBA guys, well-known agents. So I went out to Vegas during the summer league and was in the overseas camp. And, I was like MVP of the camp, and I'm just thinking like I'm just finna get, a bunch of offers from all these overseas teams. And I had one offer for $1,000 a month. And I'm like, what? Like, are you telling me this all the money I can make? Like, I got a son. Like, man, this how overseas work. Like, you coming off an ACL injury. So now it's kind of, you got to prove yourself that, you're healthy for one. And then for two, it's just like, that's just how it go. Like when you sit out a year overseas, it's kind of like putting an asterisk next to your name. Like you gotta really like, you kind of take a step back when you sit out a year. So I ended up going to Germany Pro A my first year for a team called Nürnberg out in Germany. Nice city, our pretty decent team. We was like top 4 in the league. I ended up winning MVP, but due to COVID, our season got canceled for it was like end of February, or they end up canceling the whole season. So I didn't get to do the playoffs, which would have benefited me a lot with, showcasing your game. Because that's also another thing. Like playoffs is really like can make your bag jump, because like they don't care. Like, it's like the NBA. Don't nobody care about the regular season.
Right.
It's about what you go do when, the nitty gritty, when it's the playoffs, when it really means something. So I didn't get to do that. So my next year, I end up signing with a Greek agent, and he promised me, and I can get you 100,000. You remind me of Mike James, and you're telling me all this hype, and at this time I'm just like, man, I'm making $1,000 this year. Hey, you said what? And I mean, and he had the paperwork for it though. Like he had dudes who can vouch for him. But I got with him, and I wasn't getting the offers I wasn't getting. And part of it was due to COVID. A lot of teams lost a lot of money when COVID happened. They don't have TV deals like ESPN and stuff like that where you get all this money. They get money off ticket sales with fans coming to the games. So when COVID happened, you can't have no fans. So teams not making money. Sponsors not trying to put no money into these teams where ain't no fans coming to, because how they making their money back?
Right.
So it was a lot going on with that, and I had some deals on the table, and it just wasn't what I wanted or what I felt like I deserved. So I passed on a lot of opportunities. My second year, and I ended up going to Cyprus like what was that, like January, and it was a crazy situation where the GM wanted me, but the coach didn't want me. So I ended up leaving there, and at that point, I'm just gonna wait, stick it out, wait till the summer, and go to next year. So then my third year, I ended up going to the Netherlands, which was a pretty good league, and then they was combining their league with Belgium, which Belgium is a basketball country. The Netherlands was trying to grow their basketball world, like bring more attention to it and whatnot out there. And, I had a great year there. I was averaging 17, 18 points a game. But then again, to piggyback off what I was saying, like winning is everything over here, overseas. So my team was out of 12 teams, we were like seventh or eighth. I just feel like we kind of underachieved as a team. We had about 5, 6 Americans, and you just had a lot of guys who wanted the ball and wanted to shoot. So, it was a lot of games we should have won, we didn't win. And I had a great year though, so that kind of helped me. And then my going into the next year, that's when I signed in Italy to go play in A2, which A2 is one of the most well-respected second leagues in the world. Like, Italy is a basketball powerhouse. So last year I was in Italy. I had a great year. I was in Rome. Living out there is crazy, bro. Like, it's, bro, you can get yourself into anything. It's clubs, it's this, and the fashion shows. It's a million things you can do, which was lovely. Like, be able to do that, and then I was able to finally make some real money that made sense and made me, like, not comfortable, but also like this what I deserve. You know what I'm saying? So like let's start rolling. Like, I actually felt like a true professional at that moment. And I had a great year, but then again, like, I wasn't on a winning team. So going into this year, I was trying to make that jump on I know a lot of people might not know, but like EuroLeague is basically the NBA overseas. That's the top league. And then you got Champions League and Euro Cup. And that's like where if you play for a team in Germany, you travel to Italy and go play a team in Italy. Like, you travel different countries.
Mm-hmm.
And then you also play in your league in your country. So you playing like 2 games a week. Once you get to that level, that's like top level. And like, that's when you really done say, like, I done made it overseas. And just a lot of teams was like, oh, we want to see them win more. And just a lot of that, which is understandable. I still haven't made the playoffs, so I end up coming back to Germany, the same league that I played in and won MVP in my first year. And the team I'm playing on is called Gießen 46ers. It's a well-historic basketball city. Like, man, I can't walk nowhere without somebody knowing who I am. Like, I ain't even played in the game yet. It's crazy out here. But they always been a first league team. Like, they just got relegated maybe 2 years ago and dropped down to the second. So I end up signing a 1+1 deal. So if we win the championship or make it to the championship and go up to the BBL, which is the first league, I got a guaranteed contract already.
Oh, wow.
So I end up signing it. My agent got that done, which was, and also important of having a good agent, because most dudes don't get them type of deals. So, they got us this year. They got us projected as like the number 1, number 2 team in the league. I'm playing with this guy named Robin Benson. He like one of the top national players. Like, he always played on Germany national team for like 14 years. Really good dude, cold. He kind of play like Dirk, but it's just like, now I'm at a, like, this club is like a historic club, big level basketball. So they used to winning. And like, that's what I've been missing this whole time I've been overseas, is the winning part. Like, everybody know I can score and I'm talented and I can do this. But now it's like, all right, we want to see them win. So now I'm in that situation where there's no excuses of why I'm not winning. So, so now it's all about, living up to that. So I feel like this year go be like my best year yet. I put in the work this summer. It gave me that extra motivation of, it was so many jobs I was close to getting. I was like big time jobs, and it was coming down to them choosing, a player who had more experience and, more winning caliber, which is understandable. So now it's like that gave me that extra motivation. Like, this is what I got to do. If I want to go to that next level, this is what I got to do. Yep. So now it's like, all right, let's focus in, let's lock in, and let's do what we got to do so you can get to that next level. So, man, it's been a grind of trying to get to where I want to be, as far as overseas and where I think I deserve to be. But That's all a part. That's all a part of the game. Ain't none gonna be easy. I mean, you know that firsthand. Like
Right.
you gotta put that work in, and you go through stuff, because that's what go make you into like that player that you know what I'm saying, that you want to be, or that man and that person you want to be. You gotta go through adversity. You gotta face them tough times. So
See my daughter getting restless, but no, and that grit and grind, bro. Like that's been a common theme, all throughout. And like for someone like you, who's so gifted, physically, like like to still go through, all the adversity that you are and to be where you are now, bro. Like it's highly commendable. So, I know you're gonna keep grinding. I know you're gonna keep doing your thing. So I'm looking forward to it. Just following you. In your journey. So, I won't take up too much more of your time. But I got 5 rapid fire questions before we get up out of here.
all right, big.
All right. So here we go. If you could only eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Probably hot wings.
Hot wings. All right, bet. What? And I know you're a music guy, so I'm interested. I'm interested to yeah. Hey, for the record, if y'all ain't tuned in, if y'all ain't tapped in with D Wilson's Apple Music playlist, y'all lose it. Hey, I, th- I threw I threw on the feel good vibes on Sunday when I was cleaning up, man.
Sunday vibe every time.
Hey, all right. So I'm curious to hear this one. One album you can play with no skips.
Man, it's either got to be Jay-Z Black Album. Mm. Man, it got to be either Jay-Z or man, what was Nick Black? Well, only album.
Uh, why am I not dedicated?
It's
The
the
one with dedication on it.
yeah. I can't. The
Yeah, I know.
name
I
when
know. Yeah, yeah.
I play that through no skip, just let it ride. Like
That's tough. That's tough. I'm with that. All right. So if you could have one superpower, what would it be?
to be able to disappear.
All right, bet. What's one item on your bucket list?
I want to visit Santorini, Greece.
Uh, Pictures look crazy. All right. Favorite shoe of all time.
All time, man, that's a tough one right there.
All right.
Hoop shoe,
I'll narrow. That's why I was gonna narrow it down to say your favorite hooping shoe of all time.
I probably had to say either the Jordan Steel 10s or the
Mhm.
Kobe Crazy Ones.
Ooh, both tough, 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 tough.
Yeah,
I ain't had a crazy ones, but I definitely had the steel tens though. Tough.
yeah. I
I
say
gave it to my cousin too, man. Damn.
played in both in college, and them was every game was a crazy game when I had them on. Them was comfortable too.
Dang. Ooh, yeah, yeah. All right, you gonna have me go on Goat or StockX and look up the
Yeah.
crazy ones. I'm gonna have to cop 'em.
Uh,
But man, no, hey, D, man, I appreciate you pulling up. Leaf with the Legends podcast. Man, like I said, this is just a platform to, give people their flowers, let people, share their journey. So, for you to be way over in Germany, and take some time out your day, man, I truly appreciate it. Truly appreciate it.
Man, no doubt. Thanks for having me, man.
You already know. Y'all already know. There's been another episode of Leaf with the Legends. Be legendary or be lost. Peace.